Hello everyone, my name is Helena Fynn and I am the Storyteller. Welcome back to my channel where I am showing you how to become the main character of your story. So today's chapter 2 I am very excited for because it is one that saved me years of overthinking. Years. So with that, let's get into it. It's time to see our lives as a story. We're down. So I am starting off today's video with something that you may have seen in your English classes. Don't click away yet, I promise it's for a reason. This is Chekhov's rule, that if there is a gun in the first act, then the second act, it must be fired. Otherwise, don't put it there. And this might sound extreme, but I want us to see our lives in the same way. And you might be like, so there's a stuffed animal I've had for a few years and it's on my shelf and I'm supposed to use that as a great plot moment where I see the light. Maybe not that, but maybe it could be. This is your story, so you decide. The reason why I bring this up is because there are so many decisions we make every day. There are so many little bits and pieces in our everyday life, from stuffed animals to cups of tea, to homework assignments, to to-do lists, and then also on what things that feel like they're on a larger scale. School, relationships. Maybe your crush went out with someone else. Maybe your test didn't go well. All these elements can feel really overwhelming, especially when they don't go well. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I failed a lot to be where I am now. I would not be here filming this video if I had not failed. But when I failed in each and every one of those moments, it was not a movie moment where I came out in a musical number singing and feeling just so impassioned. Often it was the hardest thing I ever did getting back up. And in the process of failing, I believed it felt like everything was ending. It felt like my dreams were gone. It felt like I was never going to get back up. I felt like my soul and everything around me was just wrecked. And to say it felt terrible would be an understatement. I was devastated. But one thing that saved me was that every time I learned something. And now that I've gone through this process for years, it's actually come to the point where it's all funneling into a larger story. If you picture all these elements which seemed so repetitive, so awful, I was like, what am I doing wrong? They picture them as almost they're in a pyramid. At the top is all these little elements. So many little moments, so many times I felt I made the wrong decision. Just one big base layer. And then we go down. And these are more key moments. These are larger discoveries. Then I had even larger discoveries where I realized that I wanted to do more than be a vet, where I didn't want to just go to college, get a job, and go through every day like a routine or a checklist. Larger and larger pieces, and pieces that got larger the more I failed. And then we get to this final piece where it started clicking for the first time. For me, one of these major moments was, as I've said, I've discovered a lot about myself over the years, and I am entwining almost all of that into my novel. I am writing my first novel. It's currently in the editing/rewriting stages. And one of the I struggled with it for a long time because I felt like it was missing a layer. There was a magical element missing in the plot. It wasn't just in the world. There was something not in the plot that didn't capture the power and love I knew it had. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it's my story. So as all the experiences and people I meet and experiences I have are funneled into this book. And when I saw that, I realized my life is a story. And that was a pretty big realization. And again, going back to this idea of every element being a part, every failure has keyed into that. For example, I used to compare myself, and I still sometimes do, way too much. I mean, just like, I would walk into a room and say, oh my gosh, everyone in here is better than me, and I would freak out. But I would often lose time doing that. So let's say I had a checklist, I would compare myself, and I failed to finish my checklist. And I would be mad at myself. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you did it again, yada, yada, yada. But if I had not compared myself, I would not have pushed myself in the arts as I have. For example, I never, as a kid, wanted to be a dancer. And then in high school, I found that I did love it. And I started in university. And part of that was fueled by seeing the most beautiful dancers on Instagram. And when I first saw those dancers on Instagram, I felt so intimidated. I was comparing myself. I was like, oh my God,
these people are doing so much more than me, and I'm so inadequate, and I'm so unathletic, and I'm so not strong, and I'm so not flexible. And it was like going on and on and on. It was
like, oh my gosh, girl, come on. Come on, just go forward and do it. And after many times of that failure, I realized the reason why I felt so terrible about watching people doing it was because I wanted to do it. I don't feel that way about every single thing. I felt that way about dance. So if I had not found that piece, then I would not have started dancing. And if I had not started dancing, then there was a character in my novel. Her name is Eva. She's actually, we'll soon be making a little post so you can get to know her. She's incredible. But I knew she had heart in her, but she was so bland. I didn't understand why. Because I knew when I felt her personality, I was like, I felt that she had so much love and life to her. But every time I wrote her, she came out as a doll. It was like, yes, no, yes. It was like, where's the character that I know you have? I found it. I found her part of the story in dance. And that was a huge critical moment. So again, all of these failures, all of these moments, I'm at the point where I clicked on a YouTube video by mistake and I found inspiration there for both what I'm doing and for a story. So if you're saying, okay, this sounds like you're throwing things together a bit, maybe, but this was so important because as I've said, I failed a lot. And one of the worst things I used to do after I failed was I would mope and I would be angry at myself and I'd freak out
that I wasn't going to do my goals and that I was losing my dreams and that I ruined my life.
But seeing this as using this technique that every failure, every element is a part of your story actually helped me to see it as, okay, yes, I failed, but I learned something from it. That helped me get over the failure more quickly. And then I learned as well. I would find a piece of myself. I would learn a tip. I can't see how that's not amazing. It's also a great way to just see the magic in your life. I think it's very easy for us, especially with so much content out there, so much social media, to see as there's so many things going on, there's so many moments that it can almost blur together. But every moment you have can be special. And I'm not saying this to put pressure on you, but I'm saying this as to give you a little spark of hope, to see a little extra magic in your life. As you know, I want you to feel like your life is a movie. Not in the sense that you have attention, but that you feel that there's a story going on, that there's a plot happening, that things are working for you, but you're on an adventure, you're growing. You feel just like the feeling that you have when you watch an incredible movie that you love and that you have a purpose. It's a great way for you to find that. I think it is such a helpful technique. So a quick homework task almost to help you do this. I want you to take one thing that happened today, it can be good or bad, and write how that is part of your story. Bonus points if you do it when something goes wrong, because that's harder. It's harder to see how something went wrong and say, that hurt, but this is how I learned from it. That's actually harder. So bonus if you do that. But if you want to do it with something great that happened to you, you had a great day, I highly encourage you to do that. And I just want you to write down, it can be on your phone, it can be on a scrap piece of paper, how that's part of your story. You don't even have to know the core part of your story, but just how that maybe is part of your something larger, something, or even just a special part of your day. I highly encourage you to get creative with it, or to just write what you feel about it. It's one of my favorite ways to grow, but I also see just how special our lives are, to see that we are the main character of our story. So that's it for today. As always, I will be posting my daily video on Instagram, and I will also be sharing a new guide as part of my upcoming full toolbox on how to be your main character. That's the end for now, but I hope to see you tomorrow.